courage of a dreamer, the innocence of youth, the failures and the foolishness that lead us to the truth, the hopes that make us happy, the hopes that don't come true, and all the love there ever was. I see this all in you. You are part of the human heart. You are part of all who took the journey and managed to endure. The ones who knew such tenderness, the ones who felt so sure, the ones who came before you, the others yet to come, and those who you will teach it to, and those you learned it from. You are part of the human heart. You are part. This is the gift I give. Through your love you'll live forever. Part of the human heart, you are part. Tonight, part of the human heart.
Good morning. My name is Brett Marston, and it is my pleasure to read the Daily Word for Sunday, June 24th, 2018. The Daily Word for today is empowered. Our affirmation is, I am empowered to bring my highest good into expression. The Gospel of John shares how the crippled man at the pool of Bethesda learned the words and rituals that could lead to his healing, even though he had not been able to achieve that goal. Jesus demonstrated that true answer was much simpler. Stand up, take your mat, and walk. The faith demonstrated through the simple act of standing was all that was necessary to overcome the apparent limitations in which he had been living. I may have caused myself great confusion in the past because I believed the power necessary to live a spiritually centered life could be found outside myself. Today, I know that I am innately empowered to make choices that will bring my highest good into expression. Our daily word is based on the scripture, Joshua 1:9. Be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened or dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Thank you for being here today. Let us now stand and sing our opening song together.
This is the day that the Lord has made, that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and made. This is the day that the Lord has made. This is the day. This is the day that the Lord has made. That the Lord has made. We will rejoice. We will rejoice and be glad in it. And be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day. This is the day that the Lord has made.
Please be seated. Wow. All right. So whoever you are, or wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. Now, as an open-hearted, accepting community, we aspire to this vision. Let us say it together. We are a spiritual community of unconditional love. And to carry that forward, we have a mission. So let's say that mission together. We inspire and awaken one another to a greater experience of God and life through the practical application of spiritual principles. And we have an opening statement. I am of God, therefore I am all people. Now I invite everyone to stand and find people close to you that you would like to share a handshake, a hug, or a namaste.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a soul like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to sing, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already passed. 'Tis grace that brought me safe thus far to freedom that will last.
Now for our announcements. My name is Eileen Chernow, and it is my pleasure to be with you this morning as your platform assistant. And I would like you to welcome Brett Poulter, accompanied by Charles Fanar and our music team. If this is your first time visiting us, we are so glad that you are here, and we invite you to please stand. And remain standing until the ushers present you with a trifold about our ministry. Please complete the white form in the trifold and take it to the bookstore, where you will receive a welcome packet and a complimentary CD. Thank you so much for being here with us this morning. Our board member of the day is Bill Osher, and he will be outside in the walkway just behind our sound booth to chat with you and answer any questions. Where is Bill Osher? There he is. The sizzle truck will be here after service. I love that. Selling lunch. Look for the big blue truck, I think I see it out there, out in front to place your order. Eat in Fellowship Hall or in the courtyard or at the picnic tables on our campus. Our coffee, tea, and sweets are available in Fellowship Hall this Sunday as well. Then at 12:30, we welcome you back into the sanctuary for a workshop by our senior minister candidate, Reverend Cherie Taylor-Jones, on the art of allowing. This week, we continue to experience our senior minister finalists. And as you know, your feedback is very important. So please be sure to complete the survey that was provided when you came in this morning. Is there anybody who did not receive a survey? Just raise your hand and the ushers will bring you one. So we see one. Okay. Use the additional comments on the survey to share your overall impressions of our candidates. Then at 12:30, our candidate, Reverend Cherie, will facilitate the workshop back here in the sanctuary. There will be a separate survey for the workshop, and this week we have a new quick one, and I'm going to have Lisa, here she is, Greenlow, explain that to you.
All right, here we are for another amazing week. We're so excited. So there are 2 surveys today, and they're important. So, you know your feedback is so important, so I just wanted to go through instructions really quickly. There are 3 parts for each of the 3 candidates. This is a final survey now that you're going to have experienced all 3 of our amazing senior minister finalists. The first part is your experience with them. Did you go to the workshop? Did you see their talk? The second part, and this is important because this is a very difficult decision that the board is going to have to make because we have 3 stellar candidates. This question, I would support him or her as senior minister. This is not meant to be yes, this one, no on these 2. It's not a vote. It's if this person is selected, yes, I'm going to support them. So I wanted to be clear on that, so it wasn't, yeah, this is my favorite, and no on these 2. So we want to make sure that we understand, if our congregation supports each of the candidates. And then, of course, the final one is easy. It's an overall rating on the candidates. So again, we'll have a white basket at the end of service. If you're staying for the workshop, don't hand them in until after the workshop, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Today is your last chance to buy tickets for the Sweet Liberty Cruise coming up Saturday, June 30th. That's next Saturday. And sailing at 6:15 from the city dock. There are just a few tickets available. I understand it's like 6 or 7, 5 tickets. I'm seeing 5, okay. 5 tickets available, so rush in there, but don't knock one another over, and get them. And please remember that next week, July 1st, as the first Sunday in every month, we invite you to bring your friends and your family, and we call it Friendship Sunday, so don't forget that. Our healing prayer and meditation service, which is normally held the first Wednesday of the month, is recessed for this summer. Now, there is a lot going on this campus. For additional information on ongoing events and classes, please visit us at www.naplesunity.org or refer to your bulletins. In fact, here it is, We encourage you to take one home and read all this important information. Now again, Lisa's getting her exercise today. Lisa Grenlow is going to come up again.
On behalf of the Board of Trustees, the search committee, and our entire congregation, it's my sincere joy to welcome to Unity of Naples Senior Minister Candidate Reverend Cherie Taylor Jones. And we want to give a special welcome to Reverend Cherie's husband, Graham. Reverend Cherie has been a Unity practitioner for more than 20 years and became an ordained Unity minister in 2016. Most recently, Reverend Cherie served as senior minister at Unity of Lawrence in Lawrence, Kansas, where she helped the church reduce their debt by $70,000 and make important updates and improvements to the facility. She's also served as a board member, treasurer, prayer chaplain, and all kinds of roles at Unity communities in different parts of the country, I imagine. Prior to becoming a Unity minister, Reverend Cherie developed an impressive career in the private and nonprofit sectors. She's been an entrepreneur, owning a restaurant with her husband. She served as the director of an animal shelter in New York. She also has more than 15 years' experience as an organizational and leadership development consultant and trainer, including at Humana and the Florida Department of Agriculture. Reverend Cherie has integrated her extensive business expertise with her passion for helping spiritual communities thrive. She's developed an inclusivity training program for Unity ministers. She's now focused on developing best practices and training to assist spiritual communities moving through minister transitions. We know a little bit about that. Helping them to do so in a loving, grace-filled way. In addition to attending the University of Michigan and completing her ministerial studies at Unity Institute and Seminary, Reverend Cherie earned certification as a pastoral counselor from St. John's University in Nottingham, UK. Did I say Nottingham right? These folks are from the UK. So the board and staff has had an opportunity to spend time with Reverend Cherie this weekend for a series of interviews and interactions. And our search committee was able to speak with some of the people who know Reverend Cherie best. Here are some of the things they shared about her. She exercises complete transparency and an unwavering commitment to her values. The premier student in her ministerial program. She empowers others, has a good heart. She's a torchbearer on the cutting edge of progress. That's just a sampling of the terrific things that we've heard about Cherie. So once again, let's please welcome Reverend Cherie Taylor Jones.
Thank you, Lisa. We don't want anyone to leave here with a heavy heart. Should you need assistance during the week, our spiritual coaching team is always available. Today, our prayer chaplains are here after service for confidential prayer in the chapel. This is a wonderful way to receive spiritual support and also to celebrate answered prayer, no matter what you are going through in your life. So now is the time in our service where we ask you to prepare for meditation. Please turn off your cell phones. Set aside any objects or concerns that you may have brought with you. Sit comfortably in your chair. Take a deep breath and know that surely the presence of the Lord is in this place.
Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. In the midst of his children, the Lord said he would be. It doesn't take very many. It can be just 2 or 3. And I feel that same sweet spirit that I felt in times before. Surely I can say I've been with the Lord. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. There's a holy hush around us. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place.
As we prepare for meditation, I invite you to get comfortable in your chairs, to allow that seat to support you. Have your back erect, and I invite you to take a breath in together. Inhale and exhale. And as you exhale, let's just release into this now moment, releasing all of the busy work that's outside. Be here now in this space of mindfulness. Allow your shoulders to relax. You may want to place your hand in your laps and just be. And if you're willing, you may close your eyes and allow this moment to penetrate every cell of your beingness. And follow your breath, just the natural cadence of your breath. And allow the wisdom and the divinity that is you to be. And breathe into the knowingness of the truth of what we all are. Divinity having a human experience. And I invite you to reconnect with Source, with the allness that we are. I want you to imagine with me this amazing bright white light as it comes down through your crown chakra. Allow it to permeate your being and wash you anew. We forget, that's why we come to community, to remind us that we are that light. We are that energy. All wisdom, all knowing resides within us if we connect. So in this now moment, I invite you to just breathe into that knowingness, that beautiful energy is you. And I invite you to say yes. Yes to your allness. Yes to what is yours to do. Yes to this lovely community in the growth and change that is coming. Yes. And as you say yes, trust in yourself, in your highest knowing, that what is yours to do will be crystal clear. I invite you again to take a nice deep breath in together and exhale, relaxing into that knowing, into your power. And we'll take a moment in the silence. At the sound of my voice, I invite you to bring your awareness back to this space, this time, this moment. Refreshed, renewed, empowered, knowing that you know your answers, and you know the answers for this community, this sacred place, Unity of Naples. And so when you're ready, I invite you to open your eyes, wiggle your fingers and toes, be here now.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom has come, thy will is done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. How do you say to a child in the night, nothing's all black and then nothing's all white? How do you say it will all be all right when you know that it might not be true? What do you do? What do you leave to your child when you're dead? Only whatever is put in its head. Things that your father and mother have said, which were left to them too. Careful what you say. Careful the things you say. Children will listen. Careful the things you do. children will see and learn. Children may not obey, but children will listen. Children will look to you for which way to turn, to learn what to be. Careful before you say, listen to me. Children will listen. Careful the wish you make. Wishes are children. Careful the path they take. Wishes come true, not free. Careful the spell you cast, not just on children. Sometimes the spell may last past what you can see and turn against you. Careful before you say, listen to me. Children will listen.
Oh my. Thank you. That was gorgeous. Gorgeous. What a great setup that is. I am. Two of the most powerful words that a self-differentiated individual can speak. I am. The words we use to claim our divine essence. I am an ordained unity minister because I believe in the principles that we teach. I believe that we co-create a world that works for all beings. I believe we are divinity having a human experience. And I believe we are powerful beings. We're so powerful that you and I have created this now moment for us to be together, for us to share in our wisdom with each other. Now, you may think when I first heard the call, I went, yippee. No, that's not true. What I did is I ran. I ran for about 20 years. For about 20 years, I convinced myself through rational thought and logic that my career is a corporate training manager and consultant. That's what I do. That's what I'm good at. But what was underpinning all those thoughts? I believed I was not enough to be a unity minister. I believed I didn't have the power to co-create a world that works for all beings. But you know, life has a way of helping us work things out and work things through. And as I grew in consciousness, I came to realize the truth of who and what I am. I am God manifesting. You are God manifesting. So imagine my surprise when I hear this thought go through my head. Who are those people and what is wrong with them? Ooh. So I know that that is a divine moment for me. And that only happened a few months ago. And you may be wondering, why would I want to share that with you? Because I believe a spiritual leader doesn't only share the ahas and the awakening moments, we also share the, oh, how did I get here moments? and then what we did to get back on the path. For me, a spiritual leader is authentic. I walk the talk. I walk with integrity. And I pray that as I model that, I am exemplary. That's what I pray for. So I have this thought. And when I have this thought, I realize that is out of alignment with everything I believe. I just said a few moments ago, I am God manifesting and you are God manifesting. So where's this thought coming from? Now you'll notice what I did was I didn't go, oh my God, I'm a Unity minister. How can I think that? I've been in Unity for 20 years. I've been doing my work. How could that thought even exist? I'm human. The thought exists. So instead of all that drama, I chose to say, well, isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? And what that does is it allows me now to be in a neutral place around it so that I can do the work I need to do around that. Because as Unity practitioners, we are called to be fearless in our self-awareness. Can I get an amen on that? Amen. Fearless in our self-awareness. That's what we are here for. So I put on my investigator cap. I'm like, ooh, let's see. How did this work? How did I come here? Because I really believe that we are of God. And God is in all things. There is no thing that God is not. So if I'm of God, guess what? There is no thing that I am not. I am the Savior, and I'm the one that wants to be saved. All things, my friends. But it's human nature. It's human nature for us to want to be good. We're taught from the time we're little to be good. We want to be productive members of our community. We want to be loved and liked. We want people to be around us. And so we extrapolate that to mean only certain qualities are good. And the rest of them we need to kind of hide somewhere or smush down somewhere. So I'll give you an example for myself. In my late 20s, early 30s, one of my characteristics that I didn't like was I was judgmental. I was like one of those Olympic judges in my day. One, what were you thinking putting that together? You know, there'd be these cars and constantly judging everything and everyone in every situation. And I decided that's not what a good person does. So I tried to hide the judgment, and I pushed it down. But what do we know about energy? Because that's energy work that we're doing right there. It doesn't go away, does it? So that energy that I'm pushing down, it's got to go somewhere. And for most of us, it gets projected out to everyone that we meet. So you know the people that I was meeting in my late 20s, early 30s, oh my, judging me left, right, and center. And I thank God for unity, because it's through unity that I realized I am all things. Yes, I'm going to be judgmental. But what the power dissipates when I realize that truth. Do you hear me? The power dissipates. Because now I get to love that aspect of myself. And when I love that aspect of me, I now get to integrate that. So as opposed to it being this judgmental Cherie, it now becomes, yeah, I judge. That's what we do. We're human beings. Get over it. Let's move on now. Right? Do you hear the difference there? So here I am now, trying to figure out, where did this thought come from? Who are those people? But you know the real tagline here is, what's wrong with those people, is it not? What's wrong with those people? Okay, so as I'm investigating, I'm like, well, where did that come from? Where did that thought come from? And it came from what I look around the world and have been seeing lately in our society, especially in our country. And what I see a lot of systems that are broken. And as it's human nature, we want to fix those systems. We're fixers. Let's fix those systems. So we create and we implement laws to fix these systems. And then, when the laws and the fixing that we try to do doesn't work, we get really frustrated. And we want to blame someone. Human nature. The reality is, the systems are broken, and so no amount of fixing is going to make it work. One of my favorite quotes is from Albert Einstein, who said, "Problems cannot be solved with the same mindset that created them." Did you hear that? Problems cannot be solved with the same mindset that created them. So here we are in a society where people are looking at these beliefs around these systems, and they're calling them truth. They're calling them truth. They're man-made systems that they're calling truth. And what that does is it creates dissonance, because that is not truth. Is that correct? That is not truth. So we now get into a place where we're feeling dissonance in our society. So there is a definition from the Webster that says, what is dissonance? So dissonance basically is when we are having a tension and clash, when we're holding two or more disharmonious elements. They're not sitting well together. They're causing us uncomfortability. Such as in this example where I have truth versus what I want to believe as truth. With me? Can I get an amen there? You may hear the term cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance basically talks about the psychological and the emotional effect that dissonance has within us. That's why some of us are walking around a little frazzled. Dissonance, cognitive dissonance. And so I'll give you an example. One system of religion. Got to pull religion, that's where we're at right now, right? Spiritual thinking, spirituality. Doesn't matter what religion it is. Do you know that most major religions in the world have the same basic tenets? Such as, do unto others as? Yes, as you would have them do unto you. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Our way shower taught that to his followers, and you can find that in Luke chapter 6, verse 31. It's not an unusual thing. And yet, what I've noticed is there's some caveats to that tenet. Do unto others as I would have them do unto me, if it fits within the norm, right? Whatever I've decided the norm is. And so dissonance gets created when it's not within the norm. So when it's our gay brothers and sisters who are committed relationships and getting married, and there are people that are uncomfortable and not happy with that. Do unto others as we would do unto ourselves. Or how about love our neighbors as ourselves? Does that sound familiar? That's also a common tenet in most spiritual groups, most religions. And yet, this is happening today, 2018. Oh, so love my brothers as myself unless it's someone of color? Dissonance once again. And you can feel that in our society, that dissonance of what is truth versus what we believe based on systems. With me? Okay. Here's the thing. We don't like to be uncomfortable. It's human nature. We don't want to be uncomfortable, so what we try to do is reduce dissonance. We want to reduce dissonance. Now, there's lots of psychological ways that we go about that. But I'm going to do that as a teaser to invite you to come to the workshop because I'm going to talk about that then. All right, good. But what I am going to talk about, how we reduce dissonance, is through our Unity 5 principles. That's how Unity members reduce dissonance. So I'm going to invite you to work with me through that thought of the 5 principles. And I'm going to ask for participation. So these 2 sections, if you would be the thought, what is wrong with those people? Can you do that for me? Okay. And this section, you're going to be helping me with the 5 principles. Don't worry, it's not a test. You'll do really well with it. Okay. So what is the thought? Who are those people? And what's the meat underneath that? What's wrong with them? So I want you to hold what's wrong with those people. What's wrong with those people? Okay, good. So I've got the first principle, and it says there's one presence and one power as the universe, as my life. God the good. Not God sometimes, maybe shows up, doesn't show up. God the good. Not God makes junk. Not God makes wrong people. God the good. So now I'm starting to tremble a little bit with this thought here, right? What's wrong with those people? Okay. So I can still hold it because maybe God had a nap that day. All right. So the second principle that we have is what? We are of God. And what do we know about that? We are inherently good. Yes, we are of God, and we are inherently good. So is it just me personally that's of God and inherently good? Is it only you that's of God and inherently good? It's everyone. Everyone is inherently good. What was the thought again? What's wrong with those people? So they're inherently good. Okay, not sure now what I'm doing with that. So let's move down to the third principle. We are co-creators. And how do we co-create, my friends? Through our thoughts, through thoughts held in mind, right? I'm sorry, what am I holding in my mind? What's wrong with those people? Well, I got to tell you, I do not need to co-create more wrong people. That is not what I want to do. Ooh, so now I've got a situation here, right, that I need to kind of reframe, rework, rethink, relook at. Ooh, I don't want more wrong people. So then what's the next one? We align our hearts. How do we do that? How do we align our heart? Practices, right? Through prayer and meditation. Through prayer and meditation, we align our mind and our heart with God mind. What was that thought again? What's wrong with those people? Okay. Well, I'm figuring out that everyone is of good, inherently good. I got to take this to prayer and meditation. I got to have a conversation with Source. What do I really believe? What's going on? Why am I thinking this way? Right? And then I sit in the silence and I wait for an answer. And I get an answer. And the answer is, oh, they've forgotten the truth of who they are. You with me? Why do you think we have communities, people? Do you think it's a social time? It's a part. But we have communities so that they can remind us of the truth of who we are. It's human nature to forget. I have 3 mentors, because you know I could forget a lot, right? I have 3 mentors that reminds me of my truth, of my power, what I'm here to do. Because it's so easy to forget. So now I can have compassion. Oh, it's people that have forgotten their truth. I get that. I get that because I do it on a regular basis, right? I do that on a regular basis. And then part of principle 4 is that we have denials and affirmations, right? So the denial is, there's nothing wrong with those people. They're inherently good, right? And then the affirmation that I sent in earlier is, I'm of God, therefore I am all people. Now, I just want to say, denials and affirmations are a tool. They are not a tenet of unity. Sometimes we forget it's simply a tool, and we subscribe everything about denials and affirmations. It's a tool, simply a tool. So what do you think I'm going to ask you to do this week? You know there's going to be homework. If you're working with me, there's going to be some homework. Letting you know now. So make sure that you keep that aware when you're making your decisions. This week, I'm going to ask you to look at those thoughts that come up about separation. Because you know they're there anyway, are they not? Okay, so we keep pushing them down. We keep saying, no, that's not me. That's not who I am. It's there, my friends. And you are in unity because you are called to be fearless in your self-awareness. That is what you are called to do. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. You'd be somewhere else with people giving you answers of untruths. Oh, I'm sorry. That's another sermon. That's another sermon. All right, so this week I invite you to look at those thoughts that come up about separation without the judgment, without the labels, without the shame, and use the phrase, isn't that interesting? Do you hear the neutrality in that? Isn't that interesting? And then start investigating. Where's that thought coming from? And then work the 5 principles. Because that's what we are accountable to, the 5 principles. All right, hopefully I didn't traumatize you too much. But I thank you. I thank you for allowing me to be here. Thanks.
Thank you, Reverend Cherie. Now, as the ushers come forward, let us take our tithe, our offering, our gifts in hand with conscious awareness. In the very act of doing this, we are engaging in the most powerful of universal laws, that of giving and receiving. As we bless these gifts, we invoke good upon them. We open the flow of abundance to us and to the spiritual community, and we prepare ourselves to receive all the good that God has for us. Let us mindfully and gratefully affirm our offering blessing together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God.
You think you own whatever land you land on. The earth is just a dead thing you can claim. But I know every rock and tree and creature has a life, has a spirit, has a name. You think the only people who are people are the people who look and think like you. But if you walk the footsteps of a stranger, you'll learn things you never knew, Have you ever heard the wolf cry to the blue corn moon, or asked the grinning bobcat why he grinned? Can you sing with all the voices of the mountain? Can Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? Come run the hidden pine trails of the forest. Come taste the sun-sweet berries of the earth. Come roll in all the riches all around you, and for once never wonder what they're worth. The rainstorm and the river are my brothers. The heron and the otter are my friends, and we are all connected to each other in a circle, in a hoop that never ends. Have you ever heard the wolf cry to the blue corn moon, or let the eagle tell you where he's been? Can you sing with all the voices of the mountains? Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? How high does the sycamore grow? If you cut it down, then you'll never know. And you'll never hear the wolf cry to the blue corn moon, for whether we are white or coppered skin, we need to sing with all the voices of the mountains, need to paint with all the colors of the wind. You can own the earth and still all you'll own is earth until you can paint with all the colors of the wind.
Thank you, ushers, for all that you do. You're a blessing to this community. So as we hold the knowing of these gifts, given with love, given with joy, given with the intention of creating a sustainable community here at Unity of Naples, we see these gifts doing the work. We see each person that has blessed this, their abundance being multiplied. And so it is. Amen. Amen.
Thank you. Here come the children. Let's welcome them in. Walking in the light of God. We're walking in the light of God. We're walking in the light of God. We're walking in the light of God. We are walking, walking. We're walking, walking. We're walking in the light of God. Walking, walking, we're walking, walking, we're walking in the light of God. We're walking in the love 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 of God. We're walking, walking, we're walking, walking, we're walking in the love of God. We're walking, walking, we're walking, walking, we're walking in the love of God. We're walking in the joy 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 of God. We're walking, walking, we're walking, walking, we're walking in the joy of God. We're walking, walking, we're walking, walking, we're walking in the joy of God. Wow. Good morning, children. And good morning, teachers. How are you, teachers? Good. So listen, before we sing our closing song, Lisa is just going to say something to us again. Listen up now.
So you know that saying, well, that was clear as mud? So on the question on your consolidated survey where it says, I would support him or her as senior minister, let me explain it this way. As a board member, it would be so great to see a lot of these where it says yes, 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 because it gives the board the ultimate flexibility to know that yes, you agree that we've got 3 stellar candidates. We've seen a lot of these candidates, with interviews and reference checking and all kinds of things. And your input is a piece of that, and there's staff input. There's a lot of different pieces to that. So what we're asking for is hopefully you can support all 3. And so whatever decision we make, we're going to be a strong, strong spiritual community with an amazing new leader. Is that more clear? Does anybody have any questions? Because this is important stuff, as we all know. Is that better? And I'm sorry for not being clear. All right, Elizabeth.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Well, as you know, I'm Elizabeth Smith. I'm your Youth and Family Ministries Director. And I have 2 friends who'd like to share about a virtue that we learned for today. First is Ariana.
Okay, so today's virtue was justice. And what part of our explanation was that it allows you to make your own decisions and not be influenced by the others, and say you look through your eyes, not through someone others. If you agree with them, that's okay, but make sure you're not just agreeing with them and not being yourself. You always want to be yourself, and then really wants to add on to that.
Okay. And so this is Rayleigh.
Today we learned our project was we could make a robe or we could color on paper, and we made the robe of Joseph because it was in the story.
Okay. Is there more? Do you want to tell about the story? Okay, so our story today is about Joseph the dreamer. And but it was about what happened to him before he interpreted dreams, and how he was treated very unfairly by his family. And the coat of many colors is what our younger kids looked at and created. But justice is also about knowing the truth of how things are, and being willing to see that and step up for it, right? Great, thank you so much for letting us share.
Boy, did that fit in with today, all the way. Please let's stand and join hands and sing our closing song.
So let's take a moment and remind ourselves of this truth. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Yes, it is.
I'll grab you before the whole
Thank you.